My wife stood in our kitchen holding a pregnancy test, tears streaming down her face. "I need a DNA test," she whispered. "It's either yours or Chris's." I calmly said, "No problem." But what I discovered next about her, our neighbor, and our 9-year-old daughter would change everything. My name is Mark Harrison. I'm 43, owner of a logistics company I built from one beat-up truck to 10 trucks running routes across 3 states. 12 years of early mornings, broken-down rigs, and missed dinners. Sarah, my wife of 10 years, is listed as co-owner for tax purposes, though she's never driven a route or handled a single client. On paper, she owns half of everything I built. We have Lily, our 9-year-old daughter. Sharp kid, my dark hair, Sarah's green eyes. She's the one thing I know I got right. That morning, Lily was at school. I was drinking coffee when Sarah walked in, pale and shaking. "Mark, we need to talk," Sarah said quietly. I sat down my cup. "What's wrong?" She held up the pregnancy test. 2 pink lines. For 3 seconds, I felt joy. Then I saw her face. Terror, not happiness. "That's unexpected, but we can handle it," I said carefully. "Lily would love a sibling." Sarah shook her head, tears filling her eyes. "I need to be honest with you." My blood went cold. "I'm pregnant, but I need a DNA test to know if it's yours or Chris's," Sarah said, the words rushing out. Chris Evans, my parts supplier, the guy who'd been to our barbecues, who'd played catch with Lily in our backyard. I stood there feeling the floor shift beneath me, but I didn't yell. Years of business taught me that losing control solves nothing. "Tell me everything," I said, my voice steady. "It started 3 months ago," Sarah said, crying now. "He came by with an invoice when you were on a delivery run. We talked, and one thing led to another. It's happened 4 or 5 times since. 4 or 5 times. Not a mistake. Deliberate choices." "When was the last time?" I asked. 2 weeks ago. In our bed." "I'm so sorry." "Our bed. Where Lily crawled in during thunderstorms." "So, you've been sleeping with both of us?" I said flatly. "It sounds terrible when you say it like that," Sarah protested. "How else should I say it?" She straightened. "I'm trying to be honest. I could have kept this from you." "You're right," I said, meaning it. "Thank you for the truth. Let's schedule a DNA test." Her eyes widened. She'd expected rage. "You're not angry." "I'm furious," I said, setting down my cup before I broke it. "But emotion won't change anything. When can we do the test?" 9 weeks pregnant minimum, Sarah said quietly. "They could do a blood test then." "Blood test it is. Make the appointment." She hugged me, crying about how understanding I was, how this mistake didn't change her feelings. I stood there, then walked to the bathroom and threw up, staring at my reflection afterward. One thought consumed me. If Sarah could lie about this, what else had she lied about? Lily, my little girl, was she even mine? I gripped the sink until my knuckles whitened. The doubt had been planted, and I knew it would grow. That afternoon, while Sarah was at whatever she did during the day, I sat in my office at the warehouse and called my brother Tom. He's a nurse at County General, but more importantly, he's the only person I trust completely. "Hey, Mark, what's up?" Tom answered on the second ring. "Quick medical question. Can you do a prenatal DNA test? It's 6 weeks pregnant." Silence then. "Why are you asking me this?" I told him everything. Every word Sarah had said, every lie she'd admitted to. "Brother, you need to leave," Tom said immediately. "Right now, pack your stuff and go. I need to know the truth first." I said, "The truth?" She cheated. "That's the truth. Whether the baby is yours or not. She destroyed your marriage." "I have a plan, Tom." He sighed heavily. "What kind of plan?" "The kind where I protect myself and Lily. Legally, financially, every way possible." "All right," Tom said slowly. "What do you need from me?" "Information and maybe a good lawyer's number." Tom gave me the contact for Stephen Cole, a divorce attorney who'd handled his friend's messy split. Then he said something that stuck with me. "Mark, whatever you do, document everything. Save every text, every email, every conversation. You're going to need proof." After hanging up, I started digging. Sarah had left her iPad at home, logged into her iCloud. I'd never snooped before, never had a reason to. Now I had every reason. The messages with Chris Evans weren't explicitly sexual, but they told the story. Thinking about yesterday from 3 weeks ago, Can't wait to see you again from 2 weeks back. That was amazing from 10 days ago. Heart emojis, inside jokes, the casual intimacy of two people sharing secrets. I took screenshots of everything, emailed them to a new account I created just for this purpose. Then I kept searching. There were other conversations that made my stomach turn. Messages to her friend Chloe about juggling things and keeping Mark happy while having fun. She'd been bragging about it, but nothing prepared me for what I found next. A text chain with someone named David. The messages went back 6 months. 6 months long before Chris. Missing you, and wish we could meet up, and remember that weekend in Nashville. Nashville. She'd gone to Nashville for her friend's bachelorette party 8 months ago. I'd stayed home with Lily, never questioned it. I sat back in my chair, feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't even just Chris. This was a pattern. My phone rang. Sarah. Hey honey, she said, her voice bright. I made an appointment with Dr. Reed for the DNA test. 3 weeks from now, when I'll be 9 weeks along. That worked for you. That's fine. I said, my voice flat. Are you okay? You sound weird. Just tired. Long day with the trucks. Well, come home soon. I'm making your favorite dinner. We can talk about baby names. Baby names for a child that might not be mine. From a woman who'd been cheating for at least 6 months with at least 2 men. I'll be home later, I said and hung up. I stared at the iPad screen, at the evidence of Sarah's lies, and made a decision. I wasn't just going to get a DNA test. I was going to find out everything, every man, every lie, every secret. And I was going to burn her world down. The next morning, I did something I'd never done before. I hired a private investigator. His name was Vic Nolan, former cop. Came highly recommended by Stephen Cole's office. We met at a diner on the edge of town. Mr. Harrison, tell me what you need, Vic said, stirring his coffee. I laid it out. Sarah's affair with Chris Evans. The pregnancy. My suspicions that there were more men than she'd admitted. Vic listened without interrupting, taking notes on a small pad. When I finished, he looked up. How deep do you want me to dig? All the way. Every affair, every lie, everything. I need to know what I'm dealing with. It'll take about 2 weeks for a full workup. Bank records, phone logs, surveillance if needed. Do it, I said. Whatever it costs. Vic nodded. One more thing. You mentioned your daughter, Lily. You want me to arrange a DNA test for her too? The question hung in the air between us. Did I want to know? Could I live with not knowing? Yes, I said finally. Discreetly. Sarah can't find out. I know a lab. They can do it with a cheek swab. I'll send someone to your office. Make it look like a routine health screening. After Vic left, I drove to Evans Auto Parts. Chris's business. Time to have a conversation. Man to man. The shop was busy. Mechanics working on various vehicles. I found Chris in his office. A cramped space that smelled like motor oil and old coffee. Mark, Chris said, standing up quickly. His face went pale. What are you doing here? We need to talk. Close the door. Chris hesitated, then closed it. Look, man, I don't know what Sarah told you, but she told me everything. I cut him off. About the affair, about the pregnancy. Chris sat down hard, his face going white. The pregnancy? She said she was on birth control. Apparently not. Or maybe it failed. Either way, there's a baby coming and it might be yours. No, Chris said, shaking his head. No, this can't be happening. I have a life, Mark, a girlfriend. Plans. Should have thought about that before sleeping with my wife, I said, my voice cold. Chris put his head in his hands. What do you want from me? The truth. How many times? I don't know. Maybe 6 or 7 over 3 months. More than Sarah had said. Where? Your house mostly. Sometimes my place when my girlfriend was working nights. He looked up at me, miserable. I'm sorry, man. It just happened. Nothing just happens, I said. You made choices. You came in my home, played with my daughter, ate my food, and screwed my wife. Those were deliberate actions. Chris flinched. You're right. I'm a piece of garbage. What now? Now you're going to give me your phone, every text, every call with Sarah. Then you're going to write down every day you remember being with her, every location, everything. Why? Because if you don't, I'll make sure every person in this town knows what kind of man you are. Your girlfriend, your customers, everyone. Chris reached for his phone with shaking hands. 2 days later, Sarah's parents showed up at my warehouse unannounced. Henry and Mary Wallace, both in their 60s, both used to getting their way. "Mark, we need to talk about this situation with Sarah," Henry said without preamble, walking into my office like he owned it. "Mr. Wallace, Mrs. Wallace," I said, standing but not offering them seats. "What situation would that be?" "Don't play games," Henry snapped. "Sarah told us about the pregnancy and your ridiculous demand for a DNA test. You're humiliating our daughter." "I'm protecting myself," I said calmly. "Your daughter admitted to sleeping with at least one other man. The test is necessary." Mary spoke up, her voice softer. "Mark, we've known you for 10 years. Your family. Surely we can work through this without lawyers and tests and drama." "Your daughter created the drama, Mrs. Wallace." Henry stepped forward, his face reddening. "Now you listen to me. Sarah made a mistake, but she's trying to fix it. You're going to forgive her. Drop this DNA test nonsense and move forward. For Lily's sake." "For Lily's sake," I repeated, my voice hard. "Lily who has to watch her mother lie to her father. Lily who might find out her mother tried to pass off another man's child as mine." "You're being melodramatic," Henry said dismissively. "Men cheat all the time. Women forgive. Now it's your turn." I stared at him. "Are you seriously comparing your daughter's serial cheating to some hypothetical situation where I cheated?" "I'm saying marriage requires compromise," Henry said. "And right now you're being stubborn. If you push this, Sarah will file for divorce. She'll get half your business, primary custody of Lily, and support payments. Is that what you want?" There it was, the threat. They'd come here to intimidate me into backing down. "Let me be clear," I said, my voice quiet but steel hard. "Sarah will get nothing she isn't legally entitled to. I've already spoken to lawyers. I have documentation of her affairs. Multiple affairs, Mr. Wallace, not just the one she probably told you about." Mary's face paled. "Multiple. At least 3 men that I know of, possibly more. So when you talk about compromise, understand that I'm the one who's been compromised. My marriage, my home, my trust, everything." Henry's jaw worked. "You're making a mistake." "No," I said. "I made a mistake 10 years ago when I married your daughter. I'm not making another one." "If you do this," Henry said, his voice low and threatening, "I'll make sure you regret it. I have connections in this town. I can make your business very difficult to operate." I smiled without humor. "Are you threatening me, Mr. Wallace?" "Because I record all conversations in my office." That sounded a lot like attempted extortion. Henry's face went purple. Mary grabbed his arm. "Henry, let's go." As they reached the door, Mary turned back. Her eyes were wet. "Mark, I'm sorry. For what it's worth, I always knew something wasn't right with Sarah. Even when she was young, she had this need for attention, for validation from men. I thought marriage would settle her." "Mom," Henry barked. But Mary continued, looking at me sadly. "You deserve better than what she gave you. I hope you find peace. Whatever you decide." They left. I sat down, my hands shaking slightly. That had been a battle, and I'd won it. But something Mary said stuck with me. Sarah had always been like this. I hadn't changed her. I'd never even had a chance. Vic Nolan called me 5 days later. "Mark, I have the results for Lily. Can you come in my office?" I drove there in a daze, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles were white. This was it. Either Lily was mine, or my entire world would collapse. Vic's office was small and cluttered with case files. He gestured for me to sit and handed me an envelope. "Before you open that," Vic said gently, "I want you to know that whatever it says, you're her father. You've raised her, loved her, been there for 9 years. DNA doesn't change that. Just tell me," I said, my voice rough. "She's yours. Biologically, without question, Lily is your daughter." The relief was so intense, I had to put my head down between my knees. Lily was mine. My little girl was really mine. "Thank you," I whispered. Vic gave me a moment, then slid another folder across the desk. "Here's the full report on Sarah. You were right. There are more men than she told you." I opened it. Photos, credit card statements, hotel receipts, text messages. Sarah with Chris. Sarah with David King, the conference guy. Sarah with Paul Allen, our neighbor and supposed family friend. Paul, The guy who'd helped me install our new deck last summer. Who Lily called Uncle Paul. How long, Paul? I asked, my voice hollow. About 8 months. They've been meeting at his house when his wife Rachel is at work. She's a nurse, works long shifts. I stared at the photos. Sarah and Paul embracing in his driveway, getting into his car together. The timestamps showed weekday afternoons when I'd been working and Lily had been at school. There's also evidence of expensive gifts, Vic continued. Sarah's been spending your money on these affairs. Hotel rooms, dinners, clothes, about $15,000 over the past year. $15,000. My money funding her betrayals. I need copies of everything, I said. For my attorney. Vic nodded. Already done. Stephen Cole has a full set. He says this gives you significant leverage in the divorce. I drove home, or what used to be home. Sarah's car was in the driveway. It was time to have another conversation. She was in the kitchen when I walked in, cooking dinner like everything was normal. Mark, you're home. I was starting to worry. Dinner's almost ready, Sarah said, smiling. We need to talk. Sit down. Something in my voice made her smile fade. What's wrong? I pulled out my phone and showed her a photo. Sarah and Paul Allen in his driveway, his arm around her waist. Sarah's face went white. Where did you get that? Doesn't matter. Paul Allen, Sarah. Our neighbor, the guy who's been to every one of Lily's birthday parties. Mark, I can explain. How many men? Sarah, and don't lie to me anymore. I have a private investigator. I know about Paul. I know about David King. I know about Chris. How many others? She started crying. Just those 3. I swear. You swore before that it was just Chris. Then you admitted David. Now it's Paul. Why should I believe you? Because it's the truth, Sarah sobbed. I have a problem, Mark. I know I do. I need help. I'll go to therapy. I'll do whatever it takes. You've spent $15,000 of our money on affairs, I said coldly. Hotel rooms, gifts, dinners. While I've been working 60-hour weeks to support our family, you've been spending my money to cheat on me. Sarah put her head in her hands. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry isn't enough, I said. I want you out of this house today. Her head snapped up. This is my house too. Actually, it's not. It's in my name only. You never contributed to the mortgage. Check the deed. The business is protected. I've already spoken to lawyers. You're not getting half of something you never built. Pack your things and leave. After Sarah left to stay with her sister, I walked next door to Paul Allen's house. Rachel's car wasn't in the driveway. She was working another shift, unaware her husband was destroying 2 families. Paul answered the door in gym shorts and a t-shirt, beer in hand. His smile faded when he saw my face. Mark, hey, what's up? Paul said nervously. I pushed past him into the house. We need to talk. Close the door. Look, if this is about the noise last weekend, it's about you sleeping with my wife, I said flatly. Paul went pale. The beer bottle slipped from his hand and shattered on the floor. Neither of us moved to clean it up. I don't know what you're talking about, Paul stammered. I pulled out my phone and showed him the photos. Don't insult my intelligence. I have 8 months of evidence. Photos, text messages, credit card receipts. I know everything. Paul sat down hard on his couch. Does Rachel know? Not yet, but she will. Does your wife know you've been bringing my wife into your home? Into your bed? It wasn't like that, Paul said weakly. Then what was it like? Explain it to me. You've been my neighbor for 6 years. You helped me build my daughter's swing set. You came to our barbecues, and you were sleeping with my wife the whole time. Not the whole time, Paul said, then realized how that sounded. It started 8 months ago. Sarah came over to borrow something. Rachel was at work. We started talking, and you decided to betray your wife and your neighbor. I finished. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to tell Rachel everything tonight. Every detail. If you don't, I will. Please, Mark. It'll destroy my marriage. You should have thought about that before you destroyed mine, I said. And if I ever see you speak to Sarah again, if I ever see you near my daughter, I will make sure everyone in this neighborhood knows exactly what kind of man you are. I walked out, leaving him sitting there in the broken glass and his broken life. That evening, I picked up Lily from Sarah's sister's house. My daughter hugged me tight. Dad, why are you and Mom fighting? Lily asked in the car. I've been dreading this question. Sometimes adults have disagreements, honey, but it has nothing to do with you. Mom and I both love you very much. Are you getting divorced? Smart kid. She'd figure it out already. Maybe, I said honestly. But whatever happens, you'll always have both of us. That won't change. Lily nodded, processing this. Can I tell you something? Always. I kinda knew something was wrong. Mom's been different lately. She's been on her phone all the time, and she gets mad when I ask questions. My heart broke a little. Lily had noticed. Of course, she had. I'm sorry you had to worry about that, I said. It's okay, Dad. I just want you to be happy. I pulled into our driveway and looked at my daughter, 9 years old, and already more emotionally mature than her mother. I will be, I promised. We both will be. 3 weeks after Sarah's confession, we sat in Dr. Evelyn Reed's office for the DNA test results. Sarah had been staying with her sister, but texted me constantly, begging for another chance. I'd ignored most of them. The waiting room was tense. Sarah sat across from me, her face pale and drawn. She'd lost weight. Good. Chris Evans arrived 10 minutes late, looking like he hadn't slept in days. His girlfriend had left him after I'd made sure she found out about the affair. Paul Allen came in last, avoiding eye contact with everyone. I kept my promise and told his wife Rachel everything. She'd thrown him out immediately. Dr. Reed called us into her office. A woman in her 50s with kind but professional eyes. She gestured for us all to sit. Thank you all for coming, Dr. Reed began. I have the DNA test. Results. But there's something else we need to discuss first. Sarah leaned forward. Just tell us. Is Mark the father? Ms. Harrison, when we conducted your blood work for the paternity test, we discovered something unusual, Dr. Reed said carefully. You're no longer pregnant. The room went silent. What? Sarah whispered. Your HCG levels indicate what we call a chemical pregnancy. You were pregnant briefly, but the pregnancy wasn't viable. Your body miscarried naturally, likely about 2 weeks ago. Sarah's hand went to her stomach. But I still have symptoms. Morning sickness, fatigue. Those can be caused by stress and anxiety, Dr. Reed explained gently. Your hormone levels are dropping, which confirms the miscarriage. So there's no baby? Chris asked, the relief clear in his voice. There's no baby, Dr. Reed confirmed. I sat back processing this. No baby. The whole reason we were here, gone. But we still ran the paternity test on the fetal DNA that was present in your blood during the pregnancy, Dr. Reed continued. Mr. Harrison, you are not the biological father of that pregnancy. I'd expected it, but hearing it still hurt. Mr. Evans, you are also not the biological father. Chris's eyes widened. What? Mr. Allen, you are also not the biological father. Paul looked confused. Sarah looked horrified. I don't understand, Sarah said, her voice shaking. If none of them are the father, then who? There is a fourth man, I said quietly, the pieces clicking together. David King, the conference guy. Sarah started crying. It was just one night at the business conference in March. I didn't think. You didn't think? I repeated. That's been your problem all along, Sarah. You never thought about consequences. Dr. Reed cleared her throat. I'll give you all some privacy to discuss this. After she left, the room exploded. Chris was yelling about being dragged into this mess. Paul was silent, staring at the floor. Sarah was sobbing, trying to reach for my hand. I pulled away. Don't touch me. Mark, please. I know I messed up, but we can still fix this. We can go to counseling. Fix this. I laughed bitterly. Sarah, you cheated with at least 4 men. You lied about everything. You spent $15,000 of my money on your affairs. What exactly is there to fix? Our marriage, our family. Lily needs both her parents. Lily needs honest parents. I can only provide one of those. I stood up. The doctor's words had hit me like a truck. But now I felt oddly free. There was no baby to complicate things. No paternity questions, just a clear path forward. My attorney will be in touch about the divorce, I said to Sarah. Don't contact me unless it's about Lily. I walked out, leaving them all sitting there in the wreckage Sarah had created. In the parking lot, I sat in my truck and let myself breathe. It was over. The waiting, the uncertainty, all of it. Now I could move forward. My phone rang. It was Vic Nolan, my private investigator. Mark, I heard about the test results. How are you holding up? Better than expected. No baby means no complications. Good. I have some additional information you need to know. David King, the conference guy. He's married. His wife might want to know what happened. Send me her contact information, I said. She deserves the truth. That evening, I met with Stephen Cole, my attorney. A sharp man in his 60s. He'd been handling my case with precision. Mark, given today's developments, we're in an excellent position, Stephen said, spreading documents across his desk. Sarah has no claim to the business since she never contributed to it. The prenup your accountant had you sign protects your assets. And with the evidence of her affairs and financial misconduct, we can push for primary custody of Lily. What about Sarah? What does she get? Whatever she came into the marriage with, plus a small settlement, maybe $50,000, but not half your business, not half your assets. The affairs disqualify her from significant spousal support in this state. And Lily, with your documentation and the testimony from Lily's teacher about Sarah's neglect, you'll likely get primary custody. Sarah will have visitation rights, but Lily lives with you. For the first time in weeks, I felt hope. 2 days later, Sarah showed up at my warehouse. Security called me asking if they should let her in. I said yes. Time to end this face-to-face. She looked terrible. Dark circles under her eyes, unwashed hair, rumpled clothes. Mark, please. I need to talk to you, Sarah said, her voice desperate. You have 5 minutes. I'm sorry. I know I've said it before, but I mean it. I have a problem. I'm sick. I need help. Then get help. That's not my responsibility anymore. What about Lily? You can't keep her from me. I'm not keeping her from you. You'll have visitation, but she's living with me. Sarah's face hardened. We'll see what a judge says about that. We will, I agreed calmly. And that judge will see every text message, every hotel receipt, every lie you told. They'll see how you spent our money on affairs while I was working to support our family. They'll hear from Lily's teacher about the days you forgot to pick her up because you were too busy with your boyfriends. Sarah's face went pale. You're really going to destroy me. No, Sarah. You destroyed yourself. I'm just making sure Lily doesn't go down with you. She left crying. I felt nothing. That night, I picked up Lily from school myself. We went to her favorite pizza place. Just the two of us. Dad, are you and Mom getting divorced? Lily asked, eating her pepperoni slice. Yes, sweetheart. We are. Where will I live? With me, but you'll still see Mom regularly. Lily nodded, then looked at me seriously. I want to live with you. Mom's been sad a lot, and she yells sometimes. You're calmer. My daughter, 9 years old, and already seeing everything clearly. I love you, Lily, I said. I love you too, Dad. 3 months after the divorce was finalized, I sat in my therapist's office for my weekly session. Dr. Anna Foster had been helping me process everything that had happened. How are you feeling about the divorce now? Dr. Foster asked. Relieved. Mostly, sometimes angry, but mostly just relieved it's over. And Lily, how is she adjusting? Better than I expected. She sees Sarah every other weekend, but she's happier living with me. Her grades have improved. She's sleeping better. Dr. Foster nodded. Children often sense when a situation is unhealthy, even if they can't articulate it. You gave her stability. The business was thriving without the distraction of Sarah's drama. I'd landed 3 new contracts. I'd hired 2 more drivers and was looking at expanding into a 4th state. The money Sarah had stolen, I'd already made back, and then some. Vic Nolan had sent me one final report. David King, the conference guy, had been confronted by his wife after I'd sent her the evidence. She'd filed for divorce immediately. Chris Evans had moved to another state, his reputation in town destroyed. Paul Allen was living in a studio apartment, barely seeing his kids because Rachel had primary custody. Sarah was living with her sister Laura, working part-time at a retail store. Laura had called me once, apologizing for her sister's behavior. Sarah's always been like this, Laura had said. Even in high school, she'd date the safe guy while sleeping with the exciting ones. I told her she was going to lose you, but she never believed it could happen. Well, it happened, I'd replied. Now, sitting in therapy, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. What about dating? Dr. Foster asked. Have you thought about it? Not yet. I need more time. Trust issues, you know. That's understandable. When you're ready, you'll know. That evening, Lily and I went to the movies. Just a simple father-daughter night. She held my hand, walking to the car afterward. Dad, are you happy? Lily asked suddenly. Yes, sweetheart. I am. Are you? I'm happy when I'm with you, Lily said. Mom's okay to visit, but home is with you. Home is with you. For words that made everything worth it. The next day, I got a text from an unknown number. It was Megan King, David's ex-wife. Thank you for telling me the truth. I'm rebuilding my life now. I hope you're doing the same. I texted back. I am. Good luck with everything. Another life Sarah had touched and destroyed. But we were all moving forward now, stronger for having survived her lies. Tom stopped by the warehouse that afternoon with lunch. You look good, brother, Tom said, studying my face. Better than you have in months. I feel good. Finally, Sarah tried to contact me last week, Tom said. Asked me to talk to you about giving her another chance. What did you tell her? I told her to leave you alone. That you'd moved on, and she should, too. Thanks, Tom. That's what brothers are for. Now, about expanding the business. I've been thinking about investing. Want a partner? I smiled. Let's talk numbers. 10 months had passed since that Tuesday morning when Sarah had stood in our kitchen and destroyed our marriage. 10 months of lawyers, tears, revelations, and rebuilding. Now standing in my newly renovated office at the warehouse, I barely recognized the broken man I'd been. I'd lost 20 pounds, started working out again, and felt stronger than I had in years. The logistics company now had 15 trucks and 23 employees. Tom had become my business partner, investing a significant amount that let us expand faster than I'd imagined possible. We'd opened a second warehouse in Virginia and were negotiating contracts in Pennsylvania. Lily was thriving. She'd made honor roll 2 semesters in a row, joined the soccer team, and had a solid group of friends. Her relationship with Sarah remained distant but civil. Sarah showed up for her visitation weekends, but Lily always seemed relieved to come home to me. Jennifer herself had apparently started therapy and was working on her issues. I didn't care enough to follow up. She was a chapter of my life that had closed, and I had no interest in reopening it. Last week, I'd run into Rachel Allen at the grocery store. Paul's ex-wife looked good, healthier, and happier than I'd seen her in years. Mark, hey, how are you doing? Rachel asked warmly. Really good, actually. You. Better every day. I started teaching art classes at the community center. Turns out I have a lot more time for hobbies now that I'm not married to a liar. We'd laughed together, 2 survivors of the same storm. I'd also met with Megan King, David's ex-wife, for coffee several times. Not dating, just 2 people who understood what the other had been through. She'd opened a small bakery with her divorce settlement and was building a new life. You know what the best part is? Megan had said during our last coffee, I'm not afraid anymore. I used to be terrified of being alone. Now I realize being alone is better than being with someone who lies to you every day. Amen to that, I'd agreed. This morning, Lily and I were making pancakes together, our Saturday tradition. She was telling me about a boy in her class who'd asked her to the 5th grade dance. What did you say? I asked, flipping a pancake. I said, I'll think about it. I wanted to ask you first. Lily said, you don't need my permission, sweetheart. If you want to go, go. But what if he's lying? What if he's not really nice? I turned off the stove and kneeled down to Lily's level. Honey, not everyone is like your mom. Most people are honest. And if he's not nice, you'll figure it out fast and you'll walk away. You're smart. You'll know. Lily hugged me. Thanks, Dad. Later that day, while Lily was at soccer practice, I sat on my back deck and thought about everything that had happened. The betrayal, the pain, the anger, all of it had nearly broken me, but it hadn't. I'd protected my daughter, my business, and my dignity. I'd stood up to Sarah's parents, confronted her lovers, and built a case that ensured Lily stayed with me. I'd done everything right, even when it was hard. My phone buzzed. A text from Stephen Cole, my attorney. Sarah's request to modify custody was denied. Lily stays with you. Congratulations. Sarah had tried one last time to get primary custody, claiming I was poisoning Lily against her. The judge had reviewed all the evidence and ruled in my favor within minutes. It was finally Completely over. That evening, Lily and I drove to the cemetery where my parents were buried. I hadn't been there in months, too consumed with everything happening. "Hey, Mom and Dad," I said, standing at their shared headstone. "Sorry I haven't visited. It's been a rough year, but I'm okay now. Lily's okay. We're going to be fine." Lily put flowers on the grave. "Hi, Grandma and Grandpa. Dad's been really brave." Driving home, Lily fell asleep in the passenger seat. I looked over at my daughter, this amazing kid who'd handled everything with more grace than most adults could manage. I'd lost a wife, but I'd saved my daughter and myself. That was what mattered. The house was quiet when we got home. Lily went to bed, and I sat on the couch with a beer, something I rarely did anymore. My phone lit up with a notification. A friend request on social media from someone named Alice Monroe. Her profile said she was the new accountant Tom had hired for the business. Pretty smile. Seemed nice. I stared at the request for a long moment, then accepted it. Maybe not today. Maybe not even this year. But someday I'd be ready to trust again. To open my heart to someone who deserved it. For now, though, I had Lily. I had my business. And I had my peace. That was more than enough. I looked around my living room, my home, and smiled. This was my life now. Built on truth, hard work, and the determination to never let anyone destroy me again. And it felt damn good.